Hey adventurers, so today is a book tag video that we created, at least as far as I know of. The questions I came up with on my own, well, with Kate's help, and the title, I couldn't find any other videos by this title, so I'm hoping it's an original. And that is the book cover tag. So this is book covers, it's pretty much all about them. Of course, these books are supposed to be books that you own, that are on your shelves, not on the way or not whatever. They're supposed to be books that you own.
And that you own personally, not your family.
Yeah.
Tony said I was only allowed to choose out of my bookshelf.
Yeah. One other thing really quickly, these don't have to be the book's original cover. They can be the cover of the edition that you have. So, with that, the first question is, what is your favorite cover?
My favorite cover is Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater. This is such a stunning cover, as you can see. The coloring is beautiful, and the way it captures an essence of the story is really, really amazing. I think there's so much in this cover that's reflected in the story and vice versa, and I think it's a beautiful cover.
So, my favorite cover, and I had two that I was choosing between, but I ended up deciding on The Story of Kullervo by j.r.r. Tolkien. This cover is very minimalistic, very much just like lines, and not even straight lines at that, but just lines. So I don't know why, but this cover really just is very, very pretty to me. It feels very Tolkien. I mean, there's a little bit on the back as well. It's basically the same thing with some more covering.
Looks like watercoloring almost.
Yeah, it's very interesting. The other one that was a contender for it is Tales from the Perilous Realm by j.r.r. Tolkien. I mean, it's got a dragon on the front. What more can you ask for? Next question is, what is your least favorite cover?
My least favorite cover would probably be The Giver Quartet by Lois Lowry. This specific edition, the coloring, the way it's laid out, I really don't like this cover for some reason. And it is the full quartet, not just the Giver book. So that, I know that plays a part in it, but this one just doesn't resonate with me. I don't like the color scheme at all. So yeah, this would be my least favorite cover.
So my least favorite cover is a book called The Moment of Truth. It's a Star Wars book from a middle grade series. I don't know what it is. I love the series. I probably still love the series because it's Star Wars and they're fun. But I just really don't like this cover. It's like when you can notice bad CGI in a series or a movie or whatever. This is what it feels like, and it just is not good. Next question is a cover that you like, but you don't like the book.
For me, that is The Story Peddler. This wasn't my favorite book at all, but I really, really love the cover. The way it's laid out is super aesthetically pleasing, and it honestly is part of what drew me into this book, is
Absolutely.
The cover and the illustration of the magic on the very front of the book.
Yes.
So, words are hard, guys. And it's a really beautiful edition, though.
Yeah, it is.
And the font's nice.
It's one of those books that you want on your shelf just because it looks nice. So, a cover that I like, but I didn't enjoy the book, was one that I had to read for one of my classes, and that is An Actor Prepares. I really like the cover. It's basically just a picture of a person's head on what looks like a piece of paper in the background. It's a very simple cover, and it works really well in my opinion. The book was dry as dust, though.
You recommended the book to me.
Well, yes, that's because you were looking. I don't remember why I recommended it to you, but it had something to do with writing or acting or something like that, and so I recommended her to read it. But it was still dry.
Can I point out that a picture of a face is also called a portrait?
That's true. That's very true. The next question is the opposite of the last question, and that is a cover that you don't like, but you enjoyed the book.
So for me, that's a repeat. Sorry guys, The Giver Quartet once again. I love The Giver, and I really enjoyed the Quartet series, although it hasn't resonated completely with Tony. But the cover just doesn't set with me.
So my answer for this is one of the first books that I talked about when we were doing this channel, and that is Desert Gold. I loved the book. The story was amazing, but the cover is just kind of boring. I mean, it's a guy on a horse, which is cool, but it's not that good of a cover, in my opinion. The next question is a book you picked up because of the cover.
I think that Aragon was one of those books for me. I had only briefly heard the title or the author's name, and I saw this at a thrift store, pulled it out, and I saw the dragon, and it kind of sounded familiar, and so I decided to get it, and then I went home and I looked it up, and I realized how famous and well-known this book is, and I'm really excited, but the cover was definitely super appealing to me.
So for my answer for this one is kind of a trilogy, and I'll have a better picture up so you can see it better, but that is the Aftermath trilogy. They're Star Wars books. I really enjoyed, well, actually I haven't read them yet, but because they were Star Wars books, I knew about them, of course, but I didn't really have them on my radar as something that I wanted to read until I saw the covers, and that cover is just very simple, yet very powerful at the same time, and I just really like the cover. So the next one is the cover of your favorite book.
Can you guys guess this by now? I feel like you should be able to if you've watched the channel for a while. So that would be Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. You all know that I love this book. And this cover, this is a beautiful edition, a hardback. Isn't there a name for this kind of book?
It's a Barnes & Noble edition hardback.
Yeah, Barnes & Noble edition.
Or
hardback.
Barnes & Noble I don't know, it's the special Barnes & Noble one.
Anyhow, I really like this book, and I actually really enjoy the cover. The purple is a nice aesthetic, and then it also has in the corner of the book something that represents each of the four sisters. So there's a book for Jo, clothespin for Amy, a doll for Beth, and the gloves for Meg, which if you've read the story, you might remember how those play into each of the characters. This is such a beautiful copy, and I really, really love the cover.
So now, mine. And I guess I should admit this. There's a certain author that has a little bit of an unfair advantage on this list for me. And that, of course, is j.r.r. Tolkien.
Pick one.
I
You're
love
cheating.
it so much. So obviously, The Lord of the Rings, which way, I don't know. This side, sure. The Lord of the Rings is amazing. All the different variations and editions have been amazing. This is the one that I have. It's got a panorama view on it, and I'll show you a better picture of the covers themselves. And then, of course, The Hobbit, which this is once again a beautiful edition, hardcover edition of The Hobbit that I really love.
I don't think it's fair that he gets to choose several favorite books. That's not
It's kind
fair.
of the same thing, though.
No.
It's just like one series. I mean,
should have chosen
for one,
Lord of the Rings
Lord of
or
the
The
Rings
Hobbit.
is one book.
Right. But The Hobbit is a separate tale.
Basically the same thing, though. It just sets up for it and is part of it. You read them together, always.
Comment down below if you think this is a little bit unfair, because there's other books I could have chosen.
Like what?
Monster Calls.
Okay. So the next question is your favorite paperback cover.
So I picked a self-pub book, which actually has a really beautiful cover, especially for a self-pub. I think this was done really, really well. Blank Mastermind by Rosie Mucklestone. It's a very enjoyable little book, and I love the cover. I don't know how well you can see it, but there is a person hiding his face with his hand, which is a really great representation of the book and the main plotline in the book.
Yeah.
So this is a very simplistic and basic cover, and I think it was done really well.
I told you. So my answer is The Silmarillion. Again, there's so many different editions of Tolkien's books that I could have chosen from had I had them. But this is the version of The Silmarillion that I have, and I just really love it. Again, it's that more simplistic, minimalist art style, and it just looks so good. Plus, the book is amazing. So, the opposite, or not really opposite, but the next question is your favorite hardback cover.
I have an old book called Robin Hood. Old book is in, it's an old edition. There's an inscription in this book. I got it from my grandparents who got it secondhand, and the inscription is from 1924. So this is close to 100 years old, and I really, really love this cover. It's a very old style, and it represents the feel of Robin Hood so well. I love this cover, and just gotta say, the book smells amazing.
Alright, so my favorite hardback cover, and this was kind of a hard choice because there's quite a few of them. I seriously considered putting Warbreaker on there, but I just got that, and so it may just be the thrill of having a new book. But the one that I keep going back to and just really loving the look of is The Children of Húrin, another Tolkien book. It's pretty simple. It's just a dude standing posing with a sword, which a lot of people are like, that's not a good cover, but it works so well for this book. I don't know why. It's just so catchy. It's just such a beautiful cover, and I just really love it.
It's another one of the very basic covers.
Yeah.
It's not too busy.
Yeah. So that's my favorite hardback. The last question on this list is a book that looks better without the dust jacket.
For me, I have The Time Quartet by Madeleine L'Engle.
And for me, I chose Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince by J.K. Rowling. Personally, all of the Harry Potter series looks really good without the dust jacket on, in my opinion, but I chose this one because I really love the colors, the black versus the purple, and it just looks so good.
The Time Quartet is the complete quartet of the Wrinkle in Time series, and I love this hardback copy. It's super, super basic, but the spine is really pretty.
Alright, so there's one more thing that we wanted to put into this, and that is honorable mentions. These are just books that we didn't have a good place that they fit, but we still really like the covers. So Kate's honorable mentions are...
I have... I don't want to eat these on the floor. I have A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness, which almost hit my favorite cover, except these little very special golden pieces on the front of the cover ruined the cover. So, great job. And this, now major motion picture. Like, why would you put that on the front of your cover? It's such a beautiful drawing. But, rant over. That's one of my honorable mentions. And then I have Romanov by Nadine Brandes. Both the dust jacket and the hard copy are super pretty. So this is another one that's very black and basic, and then you have the spine, which is simplistic and beautiful. And then, lastly, I have The House of Hades in the Percy Jackson and the Heroes of Olympus series.
So my three are Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. Again, this is just the edition that I have. I bought this specific edition because I liked the cover.
Look at the back. I didn't
know.
realize that.
Yeah.
So it's on the... I've never noticed the train on the cover before.
Anyways, I just really loved this specific cover, but there wasn't really a good fit for it in this list. Then I have another Star Wars book, which is Star Wars Dark Disciple. When you read the story, and if you know anything about Star Wars, you'll see these characters and you'll really understand who this is and why this cover is so powerful. But it's very pretty as well. And the last book is another Star Wars book. This is Thrawn by Timothy Zahn, and I actually haven't read this book yet. I really, really want to. But the reason why I love this cover is because, for one, Thrawn is an amazing character in Star Wars. And the other part is that all you see is the half of his face. And that's just a very interesting and unique way of making a cover, because the rest of it's just blank white, but then there's this cool character, or the half of the face of the cool character on the front. Yeah,
Is that the same half or his other half?
No, it's the other half of his face on the back.
Oh.
But I
Shazam.
do really love this cover as well.
So these books are another great example of why we're trying to expand our tastes, because we talk about the same authors and the same books over and over again, although we are growing and we're getting better about this. So.
But that is also, what, 12 different books, at least 12 different books from each of us. Mm-hmm. And I think you only had one repeat, and I only had a couple that were double stacked.
Yeah, yours just were all the same author.
That's true. But mine are both either, for the most part, either Lord of the Rings or Star Wars, which are kind of my two biggest fandoms, I guess. Anyways, so that's that for the different questions. If you want to do this tag, please feel free to do it. We created it because we wanted to do it and have fun.
Right.
But if other people want to do it too, that's amazing. You're completely welcome to do it.
Book covers are so different and fun, and we'd love to see what you guys love.
Yeah, for sure. Alright, well, thanks for watching, guys. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please like it if you did, and thanks for watching. Stay warm.